Hello and welcome to MGP280. I'm Kev, and with me this week, there's Sheepdog and Pab saying hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
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 There's no Anna this week because it's basically Christmas and she's working with Santa to get everyone's presents. So if you get presents in a few days' time, just tweet at Miss Lelujo and say thanks for the present, Anna, because she probably had something to do with it. She takes care of all the nerd presents. So if you get something that's really nerdy, then that was Anna. So make sure you tweet her and thank her, especially if you do it in the middle of the night in case she's not turned notifications off.
If you're not from the UK and you're from a country where it's different.
Oh, yeah. She loves getting notifications in the middle of the night when she's not turned them off. Their favourite. So make Anna's Christmas, tweet her at 4 a.m. saying thanks for the present, Anna. And then the lesson she'll learn from this is not to miss the podcast ever again.
Thing is, I can't do that because she'll think I'm being passive aggressive.
Are we? Have we started recording, Pab?
Yeah.
Oh, this is. How are we all on this fine week? Then I better do that line. Where's the rest of my script?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Finished for Christmas now.
Yes.
Christmas. I've got myself in a bit of a pickle because I've now got too many wrestling figures to keep them on my desk.
Really?
So yeah, they're just like a pile in the corner of the desk now. But I think I need a wrestling figures display case.
Isn't that a plastic wrestling ring?
I was actually looking at one of them the other day and trying to work out how I could get it into the house without Anna knowing about it. Because once I get it out here, it's safe. She'll never see it. But I need to get it.
Can't Santa bring you one?
Well, Santa has been asked to get me the world heavyweight title, but Santa's reply was not suitable for children's ears, so we can't put it on this wonderful family-friendly podcast.
So when do you start your campaign to earn the title?
Well, I'm gonna just. I think I'll just buy one from Toys R Us. They've got them in there, but I don't want the terrible plastic one. I want a prop. They're only like £400 for a proper replica.
Oh.
That's the one I want.
Do you reckon if you bought one and we did the MGP World Wrestling, how far do you reckon you'd get with the likes of Pumba involved?
Oh, well, I've floored him once. He's never floored
Exactly,
me. So he's basically, I'll take him on first because he's the one that I know I can beat. Everyone else joined the queue behind
just runs in a queue.
Yeah, I think I'll win. I mean, I'm quite the wrestler. I'll be fine. I used to practice suplexes on my brother in the garden.
Yeah, I'm so good at it, I call it wrestling.
Oh, okay, that's a bit of a worry. That's quite advanced stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And I will always look underneath the ring before the battle so that I know what's there.
That's cheating. You can't look underneath the ring.
Help them put the chairs out. And
yeah, I can't surprise you with a table and a canister of petrol or whatever I might pull out from under there. Chains. If it's a cage match, someone will accidentally have left bolt cutters under there. Yeah. Oh, not the bolt cutters again. That's where they went.
It's the worst place to keep putting them.
Yeah. Should we talk about some video games? The Steam sale is on. I had a bit of a whinge earlier today because I don't know about you two. I find the Steam sale really boring now.
Yeah, anything good's gone.
Well, it's not even that. It's that they just reduce all the prices at the start and leave them like that until the 4th of January. Yeah. So there's no incentive. I've looked once now. There is no incentive for me to have another look at any point. Back when it was fun, you'd have to log into Steam every 3 hours just to see what the latest Flash deal was. And then there'd be the fun of the excitement of, right, it's 60% off now. Do we think that's as cheap as it's going to get? Am I gonna be gutted if it's only 30% off tomorrow? Is it gonna do a flash 80% off deal? And that was all that. I didn't play any of those games. I've got 400 games in my Steam library that most of them I bought just because I felt like I was getting a deal in the Steam sale. I can't believe people find this way as fun, and I can't believe they sell as much stuff. Because
I know what you mean, actually. Just alerting someone out of the blue that 5 games have dropped rather than come look at the whole shop. You're right. There's people out there who would think £2 not a big deal, £5 not a big deal. But if you wanted all of them at once on day one, it's like, well, £80 quite a big deal.
Well, here's an example for you. I've looked on my wish list, which has got some weird stuff in it. And at the moment, on my wish list, at 80% off, is Learn Japanese to Survive. Which, if that was on it's only got 3 more hours at 80% off, I would have bought that already. But it's going to have 80% off until the 4th of January. So there's no rush to buy it. I'm not going to see it again. I'm not going to buy it. So the poor developers of Learn Japanese to Survive have lost out on a sale for me, and I've lost the opportunity to learn Japanese this week.
Or survive.
Well, I don't know if I'd survive because I'm not going to be very good at Japanese, presumably. I might get it anyway, actually. There's several of them. There's a whole series of Learn Japanese. Which one do you get first? I don't want to be lumped into intermediate Japanese. It's a full-blown RPG specifically designed to keep you engaged. By playing along, you're going to be introduced to the Japanese language like never before. I mean, that last sentence is true, regardless of how they do it. But it's an educational RPG perfect for beginners for 80p. And for some reason, it hasn't sponsored this week's podcast, but I feel like it should. In fact, 3 of my friends already own this game. Aaron H. UK, Gat1986, and Scott's Bear all own this game. That's your mate, Pab. Why is your mate got Learn Japanese to Survive?
Probably because it was in a flash sale.
There you go.
Maybe he was run over in a car. I mean, overrun by Japanese people and needed to survive.
As a bonus, you'll also learn common Japanese words and phrases and important grammar points. How is that the bonus? What's the meat of the game then? Hold on. Learn Japanese to Survive is an educational game that's ideal. Yeah, you're reading this page now because you have more than a passing interest in learning Japanese. That's not true. You're making some major assumptions here. Maybe you've tried learning it before. Nope. That's completely normal. Don't worry. I don't know that it is. Learning a language can be daunting. Blah, 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 blah. Learn how to read and write Japanese characters at a steady pace. There's a new set of characters to learn each chapter, and the revision takes place on the battlefield. I need to add that chapter to my book.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. The moral of the tale is I'm just going to buy this game. You two talk amongst yourselves. I want this game now.
Have either of you ever got the Kerbal Space Program?
No. I kind of intrigued, but no.
Well, I looked at this when it came out, 2015. God, it
was in the early access for a couple of years before.
Yeah, and I was just. But part of my God was, I swear it's been longer. But I thought to myself, it doesn't look like there's much to do there. I don't really want to spend 20 quid on that. It's bound to drop down to like £1 at some point. And I'll play it for about 5 minutes and then never look at it again. But even now in the sale, it's £15, and that's apparently 50% off. It's a £30 game, but looking at it, I just don't get it. I just don't get every video I've looked at it. It looks really clunky and weird looking, and
there is something to it, but it just requires a lot of patience and technical prowess.
All of the reviews are like, do you like rockets and space? Build a rocket, go to space. But to build a rocket to go to space over and over again, I'm quite a clever person. I'd like to think I'd get it right first time. So what am I doing then? Just
exploring space, probably.
Well, it's getting them back from space as well, and getting them onto planets. And landing on planets and getting them back off planets back home. That's
to what end? Am I learning Japanese as I go along?
I mean, probably not.
It says actually that there's 4 languages: Japanese, simplified Chinese, Russian, and Spanish.
Oh,
it sounds like this is probably the sequel to the game I've just bought.
I've been following this game since Christ knows when, and it's never dropped to a price I'm willing to spend on it. So I don't think I'm ever going to
on an old school Steam sale, it would have had 4 hours in the middle of Sunday night when it was like £3, and you could have bought it then, but not these days.
This is it. £15 is my lot, and I'm not going anywhere near it for that. I'm not even sure that my laptop can handle it.
I have a mission for you good people of the podcast. Not you two, the people who listen.
Okay,
I said to clarify. I said the good people of the podcast, the listeners.
Anna's not here.
I have 10 more days when this podcast is released, assuming Pab pulls his finger out, gets it out on time. I've got 10 more days before I re-enter my little garage and go back to work. 10 days where I'm not going to be playing any Football Manager. Now, I already have some video games that I could play in that time. I've got Persona 5. I've got my wrestling game. I've got FIFA. I've got games I could go and play. But most of them are going to involve using the big telly in the living room, which Anna won't let me do, or coming out here into the garage, which defeats the purpose of having 10 days off of coming out here. So I need stuff that I can play on PC, either on the PC in the house or on my laptop. I don't want to spend a lot of money because I'm tight and I'll probably won't like it. But if you can find me something in a Steam sale for under a £5 or around about a £5 that will keep me amused for between 5 and 10 hours that I'm never going to need to go back to after these 10 games are up, 10 days are up even, I want to know about it. Specifically, I want to know your views on Finding Paradise, which is the sequel to the Moon, apparently, which came out this week. I want to know if that's any good. I like To the Moon. Will I like Finding Paradise? Pab informs me that's a 5-hour game. But I just want I want maybe 2 or 3 cheap, relatively quick, fun games that will keep me amused so that I don't send Anna completely insane because she's had one of her 11 days of Kev that I gave her as a Christmas present today. And that might be why she's not on the podcast. So let's find a way to keep me out from under her feet.
Why don't you dabble with Soccer Manager 2016?
Because I'm living in 2017 now, Sheepdog.
But it's free.
I think I'll perhaps have, if I'm going to play Football Manager games, I might steer clear of other Football Manager games because I might have something to compare them against. I think what I'll probably end up doing is just playing Football Manager Touch on my iPad. But, it's nice to sit here now and pretend that I'll do something other than Football Manager while I'm having my week off because I live in a world of 10-day week.
Why don't you go outside and re-download the Pokemon Go app? They've brought out Gen 3 in full now, and they've added weather into it, and they've added a really cool AR game to it now, where augmented reality, that means, Kev, where if you see a Pokemon out in the wild and you click it onto AR mode, the game doesn't just become about catching it. The game becomes about walking as close to it as you can and looking at it and checking it out without it running away or getting scared of you. And if you can do it, pull it off, then you get, not the Pokemon, pull off the feet, then you get to become
get a Pokemon with no feet. That's stupid.
You become an expert handler of that breed. So I was trying it out last night, and there was a Kakuna, which is just an inanimate cocoon, like what a caterpillar goes into when it changes into a butterfly. And it was sat in my kitchen, so I went up to it and I was having a look around it, and it kept getting scared. But I thought, you ain't going nowhere because you've not got any legs, arms, or wings. So I gave it a good check out, and now I'm apparently an expert handler of Kakunas. But it's just another thing that's making the game a little bit cooler. And
as part of all these improvements, have they managed to make a way to not have it rinse your battery in an hour? Because unless they fix that, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a newer phone now, haven't you?
Yeah, but I still don't want to have to carry a charger around with me. I can charge my phone in the morning and then go to bed with it still on like 15, 20%, and then just plug it in and charge it overnight like a human.
My wife's new phone, she was saying, is much better with it. My son plays on her phone and it doesn't anymore, but I don't know. I don't have mine on. I don't walk around with a charger at the moment. They have made improvements to it, but generally speaking, there's so many more Pokemon out at the moment. It's ridiculous. They've actually got my road on it now and my house, so I don't even have to leave my house to play it, which is ideal for a lazy man like me. But the weather part is the really cool bit. I mean, right now it is partially cloudy where we live, and there are more normal and rock-type Pokemon out and about. Which you'd think would mean I'd finally get an Aerodactyl because it's been a year and a half and it's the only one I've not seen ever. But no, I haven't caught one yet, and it's doing amazing. But that's cool, and yeah, I know, like, I'm not trying to review it as a game I've played. Well, I am, but they've definitely upgraded it loads this week. It's It's just much better.
Does this mean we've got a few weeks where you're not going to have a rant on their Facebook page about how awful they are, like you did when it snowed?
The snow thing was pretty mad. They did have a mess up when they brought out the weather app, because the idea is meant to be that if it's snowy out, then there'll be more ice Pokemon. But what happened was it snowed. The country went into an amber alert on the fact it was going to snow for drivers, so they didn't like skid all over the shop, and the game basically shut down because it had a weather alert thing on. And they're so obsessed with protecting their players that they just thought it was a wise idea for them to shut the game down, even though it was like one of the few days I had off and one of the few times I could have gone out and played it, and all there was a bit of snow on the floor. In some countries, they've shut it down because it was hot in a country that's basically a desert, or it was -2 in Canada and everyone's out there topless sunbathing, and the game's shut down because that's quite cold to normal people. So they've had to.
Did you say Canadians aren't normal?
Well, they don't feel the cold as much because they live in -40, don't they? So
Sheepdog hates Canada. There's your headline for this week's podcast.
They've tweaked the app a little bit now, I think. I haven't seen any more outrageous weather conditions come up, but I was properly miffed on the day because I was all excited about the new feature, and we actually had some interesting weather because, as you can imagine, it's just partially cloudy here all the time, and I'm still not seeing an Aerodactyl. But yeah, it seems much better now. Anyway, it's cool. It's great. New generation is here.
That's got Pikachu in it.
It now means there is at least an 85 Pokemon to catch now.
Pikachu, one of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You might know him as Pokemon.
He's out again for Christmas with a new Christmas hat on.
Is he?
Oh, has he got a new hat?
Little rascal, isn't he?
I thought it was going to be the same Christmas hat as last year, but it's coming up as one I don't have, even though I've got multiple with a Christmas hat on. So I'm guessing he's slanted it a different way this year or something.
Yeah.
Does that mean you've not got him with a hat yet? Is that what you're saying? You've not got his new hat?
I've got him with a witch hat, an Ash Ketchum hat, a party hat, and a droopy-looking Santa hat. And I've got him hatless, completely hatless.
Hatless? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I haven't got the shiny one yet. It's like a glowing one.
I'd like a glowing hat. Pab, I think that's probably me and Sheepdog done for the week with all the games we've played. Right. So over to you for the next hour.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay then. So, Assassin's Creed Origins update. I have got to the title screen.
Hey, in a week.
only just got to it tonight. Yeah, I really like this game. This game is very, very cool.
You mean the tutorial for this game is cool?
Well, it is a little town. It starts off in this little town, and there's tons of things to do in this little town. I say a little town because compared to the rest of the game, it is tiny, but it is still quite a large area you get given at the start, and it gives you. It just gives you the basics of what are available to you, what you can do, what you can't do. And then you complete like the main mission in there, and it says, right, okay, I'm ready to go to leave this town and go to Alexandria. Is the next like big city you go to, and it is a big city compared to what you've been using. And then you get kicked out, and you're out of the Animus, and you're a woman, in like an old tomb. I was like, oh, okay, fine. It seems interesting. There's all sorts of files. There's loads of files on a laptop. Of course, there is talking about Desmond and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not reading all this. It's probably stuff you'd like be interested.
Yeah, just screenshot them and send me them bits. That's all I really care about.
I'll do that for you. Yeah, because I was like, I don't understand. I haven't followed it, so it doesn't mean anything to me. Any of this stuff.
Well, don't worry, Pab. I've not been able to follow it because they completely dropped the storyline. So we're in roughly the same boat.
Yeah. No, don't mention boats. And then you then go back into the Animus. You have to put some medication into the Animus before you get comatose or something like that. And then up comes the title screen. And I'm off. I'm off on my merry way, potting around looking in this gigantic city now.
Did it have any kind of like bombshell happen just before the title scene? Like he walks in the house and his wife's in bed with someone, and the neighbours theme tune
game starts off, and it's not a great start because it just starts off and you're just in a battle sequence, and
that's to hook the meatheads in. You got to start with a battle sequence, or the meatheads won't persist with it.
There's no reason to just. There's no real story as to why he's doing what he's doing at this start, and then there's like you get to this main mission that you got to get to, you do, and then it goes into a cutscene where it shows like the reason he is where he is, what he's doing. I could spoil it for you.
I'd be gutted if you did, Pab. Devastated.
It's not a massive spoiler, to be fair, but he is why he is and why he's back after a year of being away. Because of reasons.
Ubisoft are running out of money. They need
no.
They need another Assassin's Creed hit.
Well, so anyway, so there is a story. There is a story element to that, and that was a relatively good one for me. I found it. I was like, okay, well, I see why he's doing what he's doing, why he's been away, what he's been doing, and yeah, it's genuinely got me intrigued. And I like the loot system. I'm forever looking around looting for stuff. Going, oh, I've got a new weapon. It's better. It's got a better stats than my other weapon. It's Diablo in. There are Diablo elements to this now, where I'm just forever stopping, going, wait a minute, I got a new shield. I've got to check my shields. Oh, wait a minute, I can craft a new quiver for my arrows.
It's fascinating the development of Assassin's Creed over the years. Here we are in the distant past with all this, and then go a few thousand years into the future, and they just have one choice of weapon. They lose the ability to change knives as they develop through the generations.
Well, where would you go in modern day to go and change a knife?
Knife shop.
Where would you find a knife shop?
Tesco sell knives, Sheepdog.
Dinner knives.
Well, you still have to be ID'd for them because they think you might be pulling an Assassin's Creed. That's what it says on the self-checkout.
Then you can't like go in there and say to the woman on customer services, "Can you take these 4 knives and smush them into one big knife?"
I'll give that a bash tomorrow. Feedback next week on how it goes.
Okay. So, yeah, I want to play more of this. I will play more of this. It's the thing that's got my attention at the minute. And
I hear you speak of it again.
No, I do plan to play on more of this because it's a fun game. It's not. I've just. This is going to sound wrong. It's not going to say wrong, but it's something that won't attract you guys to play it. Because what I did is a lot of time I just spend my time just sat in a bush, just waiting for people to come by, and I just grab them and just like you're gone, just taking them out one at a time, just like stealthily taking out enemies. And it's been fun. I'm just enjoying myself with it at the minute.
You could do that in real life, Pab. You don't need a game for it.
Could I?
Yeah.
Well, let me know how you get on with it.
In real life.
Let me know how you get on with Tesco, and then I might do it.
Yeah.
The other games I've played some more PUBG on the Xbox. There's been updates. There's been some updates to it. Minor adjustments for stability and stuff like that. I've played now in duos. I've played in duos a few times and died almost immediately because I'm a numpty. I had to let my teammate my teammate yesterday got me all the way to second place on his own. Just did it all on his own. I was like, well, I landed, went into a tunnel, and 2 people ambushed me and just beat the hell out of me. Yeah, I still want to play more of that as well. I still want to keep playing.
How long did you have to sit around just watching after you got beaten up?
But best part of 20 minutes, half an hour. But I then become like the guy who's on the map. I'm like the map guy going, right, okay, you want to go left here?
I'm the map. I'm the map.
So I'm like saying, oh, your circle's closing in here. You want to move to them houses up there, and then I'm like the ears as well. So I'm like I can hear gunshots going from over to the west. Keep an eye out for that building there.
How on earth do you know that it's from the west? Just by hearing it?
Because he's the map guy, you idiot. He's just explained that.
It's positional, the positional audio, so you can hear where the shots are coming from while I'm spectating him, and then there's like a compass thing on the top of the hood, so you can see where everything is, sort of thing.
Well, there you go. That's the real answer.
Yeah.
No, the real answer is he's the map guy.
Oh yeah, because I mean, if I'm saying west, just to simplify it down, I would say like there is somewhat going from 180 because it's just like numbered, like a numbered compass, and it like as you move around it, you know.
If you said that to me, I would drive up there to your house and punch you in the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's gunshots at 180, Pab. We're not. This isn't real.
No,
well, that's like a human.
Though, but it gives you a much more specific idea. If I say to the west, there is a huge arc to the like.
If you said 180 to me, I would stop doing what I was doing and try and work out where you were talking about and get shot.
Well, you would know if you played the game. You would know. You would understand the language that I'm saying because you know what you to look for.
Because it's all in Japanese. That's right. I understand the language.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day once you've finished that game.
Yeah. This is the third one in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What I'm thinking of now is that American fella shouting "Loho" at you and trying to tell you where to go when we were playing Battlefield, Kev.
Yeah, I think Pab's got a lot of confidence in me that might be slightly misplaced, that you think if I was playing it, I'd have any idea what was going on. I still wouldn't have a clue. Which one's 180? What does that start with? Am I looking up or down?
I don't know.
Pab, I'm stuck in the menus. Where's the start button?
That sounds about right. That does sound about right. I do recall many of them gaming nights when we just have you going, I don't know what I'm doing. Where am I? Where have you gone?
It's not that we're too busy to play games with you anymore. It's just that we find it embarrassing and we don't want to ruin your night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair enough. PUBG on the PC, I haven't played much. I don't think I've played it all this week. The 1.0 release is out now. It's actually fully out of early access. Came out yesterday, but the servers were down. Surprisingly, the servers were down. There were that many people trying to get on it. It crashed the servers. So I will play that again, probably just to see how it's running and seeing how the updates are with that one. What else have I played? Destiny 2. There is a Christmas update. The
Did I get Santa hats?
No, snowballs.
The drink?
No, not the drink, unfortunately. No, it's just snow. There's like piles of snow, and you can gather the snow and create a snowball. And they do massive damage. They do seriously a lot of damage to enemies, just in the world. You'd think they'd just be in like the tower area, where you sort of hang it over people, and they're in there as well, and you throw them at people, and it sort of blurs the screen and it slows them down for a second. But when you're actually in the levels, they do some serious damage. But you can't just spam it because you start getting frostbite. So you've got to be tactical with it. You've got to just every now and again.
Because it's not frozen water; it's like frozen.
It seems like they've got stones in the snowballs because you do some real damage. They're like seriously more powerful than your weapons. And there's all sort of things. There's a lot of new loot in there for Christmas, for like Christmas engrams, and there's like special events going on and special missions you got to do and special quests that need doing and completing certain tasks and doing other things. And it's good that they're constantly like updating it, sort of thing, and it's going to run it started on Tuesday and it's going to run to Tuesday, January the 9th. So you got time to play it. It seems all right. It seems all right for something that's not really a major update, but people keep playing it because you're forever chasing them milestones, which is what I'm doing. And it just gives you a bit of extra something else to do as well. It like freshens it up a bit. So yeah, I'll continue to play that again because that's where everyone's playing it. We're consistently doing chapters of the raid now. We're not completing it all, but we are successfully doing at least the first like section of the raid now. And then we've pretty much got certain rooms down to a T now. It's just when you land in a particular room, because the room order rotates every week. So you never know which room you're going to get. And this last week, we ended up in a room that we just cannot fathom out. We nearly get it, but we just can't get it. So we will continue to crack on with that. Maybe probably after Christmas now with that one. And finally, FIFA 18. FIFA 18 I've been playing again. You've never heard of it?
Yeah, you're in training so that I can put you in your place, are you?
Yeah, it would seem that way. I've started playing online games. For some strange reason, I've started playing online. I just one night I was just like, I'm thinking I want to play FIFA, but I don't want to play against the AI because it seems kind of easy. And then I was like nostalgic for like the old days when you play on the 360 and I would just go online and I wouldn't matter if I get beat. It was just like the thrill of playing against random people, like just trying to beat them. I didn't realise I'd not really played FIFA Online for a while. They've got like a league system, haven't they now?
Mm.
Yeah, where you've got to play. Like, is it 10 games you got to play in like a season? And then if you get to a certain points tally, you go up a league or you get demoted a league, which is quite clever. So far I think I've played 3 or 4 games. I think I've played 4 games. I've drawn 1, lost 2, and won 1. So I'm not doing bad. And I've only got thumped once of those games.
Is
when I
this
was
on your
4-0.
Switch?
No, this is on my Xbox. I've got an Xbox now. I got it on the Black Friday sale.
Well, in that case, it might be time for me to put you in your place.
Yeah,
Did you get thumped for saying 180?
No. I got beat. That is a term for getting beaten heavily. Sheepdog.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, it was. I think I lost one of the games. I lost 1-0, and then the other one I lost 4-0. The game I won 2-0. So, and I've picked Spurs, Sheepdog.
Good man.
I don't know why. I kind of like Spurs as a team.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Jake doesn't seem to. Whenever you talk to him on Twitter,
yeah, but he looks like an old version of a E17 band member. So, what does he know?
Hi, Jake. Have a good Christmas.
So yeah,
that was in our film segment coming up.
Oh, well, there you go. Then I'm pretty much done with games now. We're all good, so we can move
forever.
No, for this evening.
Okay. Splendid.
So yeah.
If anyone wants to know how I'm getting on in Football Manager, watch on YouTube. There you go. That's my games update every week now. Just watch my videos if you want to know if you want to know how I'm getting on. I make it quite public. I'm not hiding. So films. I'm just going to unplug my headphones while you two get really boring for a little while talking about Spock.
I'm not going to get boring because I've not watched it yet.
You've not watched it? Yeah, I mean, Jake said to me, "Are you going to talk about it?" And I said, "Well, I don't think Pab's seen it, and Kev ain't going to bloody watch it. So what can I really say?" It's unlike me, I know, but for once it wasn't me on the negative side of it. But I had probably the longest argument about a film I've ever had in my life on the weekend. Friends are massive Star Wars fans, and they all ran out to see it like the moment it was out. Although some of them joked that they were seeing it at midnight. I didn't think it was a joke when they said it, but they were like, "Yeah, I'm seeing it at midnight, and then I'm seeing it again the next day." And I just thought, Jesus Christ. So then when I'd seen it, I said, "Oh, I quite enjoyed it, actually." I was really surprised how good it was for a Star Wars film, It's probably the first time I've left. Well, the last film when I left the cinema, I thought, I enjoyed it, and I can, and I know my kids enjoyed it, and that's me happy.
Yeah.
Whereas this time I came out of the cinema thinking, well, my whole family enjoyed that. That was really good. It kind of, the first one was just building everything up. So it was like, oh, here's a character, here's a character, here's a character. And then you never really got very much time with him. Whereas this one felt like they were saying, well, this guy we'd built up as this like Han Solo replacement who's going to like do loads of awesome against all odds feats. Actually he's a bit than that. Here's this character we built up to be this epic. Actually, there's more to their story as well. And so I came out of it going, well, I'm quite impressed about it. There were holes. There's always holes. Every Star Wars film is riddled with ridiculous, stupid holes that couldn't possibly happen or are just against. I mean, I sort of pointed out to them, they're all moaning about how this film basically had the claims that they said, and people online are saying, is it's got very little character development, which shocks me because I thought there's the character development seemed to be spoon-fed to you at some some points. There was a lot of character development. It was almost like, can we just get on with the story rather than developing all these characters that you keep insisting on developing, please, Mr. Character Developer Man. There was people were saying it just didn't feel like a Star Wars film, and I was just sat there
I'm
thinking,
interested.
Well, the whole film, I just felt like it was exactly what I expected for every Star Wars film I've seen before and now. It seems to me, from talking to everyone, that the more into Star Wars you are, the more you hate this film, and the less into Star Wars you are, the more you seem to like this film. So
it'll be the best film I've ever seen.
Yeah, you might end up thinking it's absolutely incredible. Watch it, because I genuinely like to see what you think of it, just because. I know you're not, and it'd be mental for you to go to the cinema and see the 8th film in a story just to see whether you love it. But this is the mental thing. I had a chat. I mean, what got really confusing was the argument I had with my friends ended up getting to the point where I've learned that this series that they all harp on about so much, and we couldn't talk about in our group chat until everyone had seen it and all this nonsense. Most of them don't even rate it above like 7 out of 10 for any of the films, and they thought this one was a 4 out of 10. And I'm like, why is this even on the radar in this group? So that's a more of a personal vendetta / issue, because I've been friends with these guys for over 20 years, and it's always been a bone of contention that I think Star Wars is really lame, and I don't get it, and I don't particularly like it, and all of this, even though by rights it should be something I enjoy, and they all think it's awesome or whatever. But I think they got quite angry because one of them said that there was loads of plot holes, and I said it's a film for kids, and then that kind of really offended them. I didn't mean it to sound like when Kev does it to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we got into a big debate about how George Lucas actually, on record in the 70s was saying this is a film he's written for children and it's aimed at children. And, I actually started referencing frigging essays from the University of Nottingham or some nonsense because they just weren't having it. A bit out of hand and silly, and I should have respected that they just didn't like the film, I guess. But anyway, I didn't like it because it just seemed like all the other films. There were some really silly bits, and it's not spoilers that I'm going to get into. There's just certain points where, so one scene, whether it was a building or a spaceship or a planet or whatever, but all hell's broken loose around a character, and it's all just a mess, and there's fire everywhere, and then this like pristine, untouched spaceship is just parked in the background while they're sort of going, what the hell are we going to do? And I'm thinking, there's a completely untouched, perfect, it almost looks like they've just finished putting it together and painting it in the factory. It's in perfect condition, like just go get in that. And it just seemed really weird that they'd done that. There's lots of little bits like that in it where you think they could have probably just edited that a bit to look a little more hidden or a little bit burned or singed or whatever. They could have uncovered it. It could have had a sheet over it, whatever, a bit of tarpaulin over it, and it would have made a bit of sense. But it was just there, really badly placed in the background. And when they went and got in it, you just thought, really? That what? Like, it wasn't even dramatic because you could just see the ship in the background. So there's lots of little bits like that where you just kind of questioned it. But as I said to my friends, the point I was trying to make was very much my 5-year-old next to me and the 8-year-old next to him weren't sat there going, there's a perfect ship behind you, mate. Why aren't you getting in it? They might have noticed it, but they weren't insulted by it, because that's who the film was aimed at. But I think Jake, I can't tell whether Jake thought I was going to rip it or whether he thought I was going to defend it. I think he liked it. I'm not sure. I kind of half saw his arguments on Twitter about it. But I'm finding everyone I speak to online, at work, wherever, thought it was great. And then all my friends who are hardcore.
Oh. Star Trek. 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
No, I thought it was a solid 7 out of 10. Just, yeah.
Yeah. Good, not great.
Both of them are great.
Yeah. I can see that in the grand scheme of things now. they're enjoyable. They're not like masterpieces, are they? They're not Oscar worthy, films realistically, are they? But they're entertaining. That's all they need to be, really, don't they?
Exactly. And I think I was a bit more cynical about them when I was younger because I kind of saw a lot of films and thought I kind of only really want to see the great ones. But taking my kids to see this, they came out happy. Thor was better.
Thor was better. Okay.
Better. Yeah, all of those sorts of films were better. But
is that because you sort of like you're into that culture of comic books rather than
I don't know. No, I think it'd be hard pressed for anyone to say that this was like film of the year.
Right. I'm curious. I'm curious to see me, who is a Star Wars fan, comes out with what I feel like tomorrow when I go and watch it. I'm curious to see if I have the same opinion, because I thought probably 4 was the best film out this year, maybe. That and Guardians 2.
I forgot about Guardians 2. Yeah, it's not as good as Thor. Guardians 2. Yeah.
So you all seem to be forgetting about Justice League. How dare you?
Well, 4 and Guardians 2 are better than Justice League. And I didn't dislike Justice League. I just think that it is a better film. They are better films. They're more entertaining. Put it that way.
I still haven't seen Thor. Or really? Doctor Strange, because I respect the rules.
Well, watch them both. Kind of integral. You kind of need to watch it. We need to watch Doctor Strange with 4.
Well, I'm not allowed to. They're the rules.
Watch it. It's not hard. It's on Netflix now, isn't it?
Is it? If it's on Netflix, I can probably watch it.
Yeah,
I'd rather enjoy Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is all right.
Well, we had a pact, and you two both broke it.
I don't recall signing any blood oaths.
No,
you never do.
Exactly. I always let you just cut yourself, and then I laugh.
Yeah, I bleed all over you, and then we've got a pact.
Yeah.
Any more movies then, or is that it? Just no big releases this week. Then I take it. Nothing important going on.
I thought it was decent. I'm shocked at the. I mean, there are people out there, Kev, who are demanding that the bloke who directed it be sacked and the film.
Oh, that's because there's people who are complete morons.
Yeah, they want the film taken out of the.
It's because they've learnt from moaning about the ending to Mass Effect 3 that if you moan enough, then they will change it.
I tell you what,
it's the same crowd.
Disney to take this out of the series and make another film, and I'm thinking if I was Disney, I'd be like, all right, yeah, we listen to our fans. Well, this film's already made like £1 billion or whatever. It's probably made more than £1 billion. I'd just be like, yeah, all right. Give us a couple of years. We'll do it now.
Just tell them that the next one is this is a replacement for that one you didn't like.
Yeah, and then just release another one at the end, because they don't need excuses to just keep cashing in on this. If I get to watch another film that's somehow better than this one, I'll be like, nice one. But there'd be no way in hell I'd be ignoring this petition. I'd just be like, boom, there you go, sorted. I'd make up some nonsense about, we're going to get George Lucas in, he's going to do it.
Because he's well known for doing a real solid script.
Yeah.
But they could just say, we thought we'd get him in, it's his baby, and whatever nonsense they want to spin, give them what they want. It's going to make them another £1 billion, isn't it? Because they'll just say, well, this is it. This is really our real go at episode 8. And if they get it wrong again, they just offer to do another one. And then episode 9, if people aren't happy with that, you have to spend another £1 billion, wouldn't you? Sorry. They're onto something here. They've cracked it.
Imagine how grumpy these Trekkie nerds are going to be when they announce the Avengers crossover.
Yeah.
It was all in the same universe.
Well, it's only in a galaxy far, far away in the past. So we've got to bring it up now, haven't they?
Their great-great-granddads are Thanos. It's them who are coming.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just happened to stumble across a lightsaber at some point in one of these films just to annoy people.
that would make me interested.
Yeah. It'd be well funny. They just had Asgardians in it and stuff.
So, any more films?
No.
Have we watched any other films this week, Mrs. Sheepdog?
Not what you call either of us usually.
Yeah.
No, my wife's just in the kitchen. She made me jump a mile when she walked in the room.
Hello, Kirsty.
Can't hear you.
Hello, Kirsty. Kirsty.
He's saying hello, and you're
She's
annoying.
so rude. So rude, your wife.
All right, all she heard was she shouting Kirsty, which isn't her name.
Whatever. She's been saying that for years. When's she going to give it a rest?
Yeah, apparently we haven't watched anything else. She thought long and hard before leaving the room.
Couldn't remember her own name, though.
What have I watched? I'm not up to date with South Park. What am I talking about?
You must be. I thought it was.
No, I'm not up to date. I've not finished season 21 yet, but I've got up to the franchise prequel episode, which is where I need to be, which is the Coon and Friends, where they're trying to get a franchise on Netflix.
You're through Netflix. You've been greenlit.
Yeah, basically, yeah, and they've got the whole, they've got the whole plan on the board, haven't they? They start with a Netflix, and then they go to a movie, and then they have a different person movie, and then they have a group movie, and they have a whole phase plan, don't they, on the board, and it's great.
It's made me think. I know it's a joke that they're playing about Netflix, but I wrote an article about this on my site. Netflix signed off something like $8 billion or some stupid amount of money to just fund TV shows, and I thought, geez, that's so much money. We could surely write a script. If they're greenlighting anything at the moment, why on earth aren't we throwing something at them?
Someone needs to explain to me how Netflix works.
Why?
Not just in general, but today there's been a film come out on it called Bright. Yeah. That's a Netflix film that's got Will Smith in.
Yeah.
So they're getting Will Smith doing straight to internet streaming service movies now, are they?
Yeah, yeah.
Someone explain this to me. Is this actually how films is this the direction movies are going in if they can get a proper Hollywood star?
As I mentioned, they've got a £8 billion fund. So I imagine when they're offering him £100 million, he's not going to say no. I don't know what they offered him.
But how have they got that much? I don't understand. It's like £8 a month.
Well, it's
does everyone in the world have it?
Basically, yeah. And it was a movie that got optioned by Netflix. Netflix bought it, sort of thing. So
what, after it was made?
No, after it was made, they read the scripts and what have you, and got into producing it, sort of thing.
But you don't see Will Smith doing BBC One specials.
No, but they don't Sheepdog said they don't offer him $100 million.
But the thing with Netflix as well, most of the companies that are around, like Netflix, Uber, and all of them, are really bizarre in that they've got this. They've got a large customer base paying very little. They've got big investors trying to make money out of it. But sort of numbers Netflix are doing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were making some kind of small loss on it. But the idea is they just keep doing it until it absolutely kills Sky and all the other types of things. And then they slowly start pushing it up to 15, 20, 30. Already it's gone up to 11. It was, £6 a month a year ago, and now it's, I think, 10.
Like when Film 4 finance a movie, for example, it still goes to the cinema first so they can make their money back on it. Yeah, Netflix aren't making their money back.
Netflix don't want to do that because they're paying for the...
What, you think people have signed up for Netflix to watch this new Will Smith movie? Because if they haven't, then they're not making any money. Yeah, so they're not making any money on this movie.
People would cancel it every month if they didn't have something new to watch that month. Yeah. They'd start getting fed up with it and cancelling it. But the fact is, there's rarely a month when there's nothing new on for you to watch. They've taken a few missteps more recently. I mean, I tried to watch Punisher and just thought it was dross, and my wife watches it, but I just stopped. So I started digging around through Netflix trying to find something I'd never heard of. They do have a lot of the old films that have been on or things from the BBC or whatever, but they're buying them for substantially less money, and they're obviously then keeping people like me entertained with them briefly. But every now and again they'll chuck something big on there, and people will be like, "Oh, that's the only place I can watch this." I mean, Amazon are doing the same with Preacher and American Gods and the Grand Tour. They threw $100 million at Top Gear basically, didn't they? And people like my mum and dad they already have it, but they would have gone out and got it to just watch Clarkson, and all of them lot.
I don't understand the world anymore.
Yeah,
Americans are mental about specific actors as well, aren't they? So Will Smith will be a draw for Americans.
Yeah. I mean, they said, I don't know how long ago this was, they said they were aiming to get a new TV series out the door every single week of the year.
Which is why we should have one.
Which
I mean,
is
come
insane.
on.
Which is insane.
Let's just make MGP into a TV show.
I have watched the first 20 minutes of this film as well, and it does look quite good.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued.
Might watch it over the weekend.
I keep wanting to watch there's one on there called What Happened to Monday or something like that, and that has an interesting premise about siblings being illegal, identical septuplets try and co-live in a building without anyone noticing or something in some weird dystopian future. I keep meaning to watch that, but I've not got around to it yet.
Interesting.
Splendid. Is it Comics O'Clock?
Yeah, sure.
Right. There's an enormous Comixology sale going on at the moment.
Is there?
Absolutely. Pretty much every comic that's ever been made is on a crazy, crazy discount. DC have reduced everything they've ever done. Pretty much every trade is $2.99. Even like the latest Batman one that came out this week is on Comixology at the moment for $2.99. Marvel have got one where they're doing 80% off loads of stuff. The indie publishers are doing a similar sort of thing. Pretty much any book you can imagine you can get for about £3 at the moment. Wow. And I need to just put a hammer through my iPad and go and live in the woods for 2 weeks, because I keep filling up. I did a little preliminary, right, I'll just go through and I'll fill my basket with everything I'd want if money was no object, and thought, right, that's £600.
Wow.
So let's take a few things out of this. And I still haven't bought anything yet. Good. Oh my goodness, it's going to absolutely ruin me. I need to just not have the internet for a month, or until the 4th of January, I think it is, all these sales run until. It's terrifying, but it's, you could easily get caught up in anything you want to get caught up on right now. For
Did you
very
say
little
4th
money.
of Jan this runs to?
I think so.
You just got to behave like I do and just like pretend you don't want to read digital.
But I do want to read digital. Digital is more convenient for me.
Well, if you just act like you don't, then you won't spend any money.
Give it. I want it. I want them all. I want it.
Yeah, I know. But like I say, I don't have any interest.
Pam, I want them. I want them.
What they need to do is put Star in the title of everything, and then you won't want to buy it.
Yeah, there is a lot of Star Wars stuff. Pretty much every Star Wars book is reduced as well. Apparently, there's a film out.
Yeah, apparently.
But I just want to buy lots and lots of comics. I want them all. I did buy a book this week as well, a physical book.
Oh, right.
My favourite thing is Monsters.
I looked at this, yeah.
Okay, but tell us about the book.
Very good, Sheepdog. It caught my eye when I was mooching around in Forbidden Planet because it's drawn entirely in biros. Yeah. And that caught my eye, and I thought, I'll have a bit of this. And I've heard it mentioned on some of my loser podcasts that I listen to that talk about loser topics like comic. And I thought, I'll have a little piece of this. Brought it home, read it. I'm bearing in mind it's a big, thick book. Read it through in 2 sittings. It was absolutely superb. Standalone graphic novel about some kid's childhood and all of the issues that she dealt with, and just drawn in pen. And I like it, and it's very cool. And I don't want to spoil any of it by actually telling you what it's about, but it goes up there with the likes of Mouse and March as comics proving that they're capable of doing something a little bit different and doing it really, really well. And it doesn't all have to be about superheroes and aliens. You could just do something that's about a real life thing that has happened or historical events, and it's just handled really, really well. And it's probably the only medium that could do it as well as it does it. Because it's a comic, you like the main character in it. She's a 10-year-old girl, but she only because it's done in the style of her drawing it in her notebook and keeping it as a diary, which is why it's all done in biro pen. All the pages are lined and hole punched as if it was just a journal that she's filled in, telling this story of parts of her life. But because it's done through her eyes and because it's drawn, even though she's a 10-year-old girl, we only ever see her depicted as a monster. And you couldn't do that in anything else without it seeming a bit weird. and it's just really, really well done. And it's if you don't like superheroes and you avoid our comic section because superheroes, pick up My Favourite Thing Is Monsters and just read it, because even if you don't like comics, it's something you should read because it's really good. So there.
Yeah, I did look at it at the comic book shop when it.
Well, then you're not human if you looked at it and didn't buy it. What's wrong with you?
It was like close. How much was it?
Like 25 quid, I think.
Yeah. See, at the time I was like, I already had nearly 40 quid for books in my hand.
I think you need to make some kind of MGP wish list on Amazon where people like me can keep track of what you're talking about, not so that we can buy them for you, so that we can go on there and buy them for ourselves. Put a quantity to like 1 million, so that each one can't ever sell out, and then I can just go on there and flick through them and buy them.
Amazon must do, like on Steam, you can become a Steam curator. Do they not do something like that on Amazon? I'd love to be an Amazon curator, an Amazon collection curator. That would be amazing.
That would be cool.
If Arthur Mazin is listening, get in touch. We'll set that up, and we can put our affiliate link on there, which I guess doesn't exist anymore because we don't have a website anymore. So that's a bit of a problem. That's why no one uses our affiliate link anymore. Because it's just porn now. If you go to that old link that I won't mention,
because
Pab runs his little porn site through our old URL.
No.
That's what I tell people whenever anyone asks. Yeah, we handed it over to Pab. He did
it in a week to me, and I didn't understand what was going on. You mentioned.
Oh yeah, you're planning MGPX.
You said Pab will sort it out, and I went, "What am I sorting out?" And I had to scroll through. I was like, "What? What?"
Yeah, you're planning MGPX, so me and Wolster can play virtual tennis.
Great fun.
Basically, you just need to get me and him somewhere where we can play virtual tennis together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we really need.
Right. Okay. I'll look into it.
It doesn't look like there's a Play Expo this year, by the way. Because when he said it, I thought, Play Expo seems like a good idea. Play Blackpool has moved to February. It's like really early in February, so I'm probably not going to bother because Blackpool in February doesn't sound appealing.
Blackpool in general was not great, was it, as a place? I mean, like, I enjoyed the weekend, but...
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked going to Pleasure Beach and stuff, but I wouldn't want to do it in February.
It won't be open in Feb, will it? Anyway, off-season.
It's a good chance, it's off-season, yeah.
But on their website, Manchester's not listed at all. I sent them an email about a month ago saying, is Manchester happening next year? I can't find it on your website anyway. Normally you've announced the dates by now, and they've ignored me completely. So
really,
it seems that Play Manchester might not be happening next year. So you might actually have to do a replacement event for that in Manchester so that we can... I've got to have my annual trip to the Trafford Centre.
Right,
so if you can arrange us an MGPX in Manchester in October, we'll have all those people who normally go, who can now come to MGPX, get the arcade machines and stuff there. But if you let me know when that's arranged, I'll arrange to be up there. I'll make an appearance.
Okay. Great. Okay, I look forward to it.
Back on comics
books,
for a minute. I ages ago I got spin-off from Sandman about his sister Death. Called, I know part of the story is called Death, the High Cost of Living. But I started reading it, and then I just forgot I owned it. And then when I remembered, I couldn't find it anywhere, and it just suddenly appeared the other day, right next to where I sit every single day. So it's probably there all along. But no, I've got my own, like, obviously where I sit in my living room, and it was just, I think it was behind a piece of paper, but it's been there for like 6 months. The piece of paper just moved when a door blew it open and whatever, and I was like, oh. So I stopped immediately what I was doing and carried on reading it. But these stories are fascinating. The premise of this is that one day every 100 years, Death becomes mortal and lives on Earth for a day, just getting to know, people and what they get up to and learn a bit more about them. And she makes friends with a kid who wants to kill himself, and a 250-year-old homeless woman who has hidden her heart in a box somewhere and needs Death's help to find it. And just loads of other nonsense people like that. And it's absolutely mental, but I'm loving it because it's just a bit crazy. And the character of Death is probably the best character out of all of the Sandman series. She's just this kind of can't think of the right word. She's very cool, you know, and just yeah, very cool. I recommend it. I mean, I've keep telling people to go and read the series, and I've had a few tweets of people saying
$2.99 on Comixology at the moment.
I was just going to say, you could get this book for $2.99 digital, and you wouldn't regret it. I'd recommend you reading the entire Sandman series first, but at the moment, you're basically saying that for £39, you could read every single Sandman book going. That's a bargain, considering I've spent £10 a book on them, and I've got them all, you know, in hard copies. And it stopped me reading the other one I was really enjoying, which, again, I don't know where I put that. It's probably behind a piece of paper somewhere. But I put that one down, lost it, started looking for them both, and then this one has popped up. I reckon one of my kids is probably just juggling my books around the house just to keep me on my toes.
Sort of thing I'd do. Perhaps I'm sneaking into your house.
Maybe you are. You never came to get a picture of my Christmas tree.
Yeah, you know full well I have a policy about your house, so it can't be me.
But you still haven't come and take a picture of the Christmas tree.
No, you didn't send me a picture of your Christmas tree. Did you? No, exactly. Bit late now, isn't it? Christmas is over.
Yeah, pretty much. Right. Sheepdog, you got any more?
No, because all my books keep disappearing.
Oh, under pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have I read? Under your recommendation, I read the Giant Days Holiday Special.
Ha!
It's all right. It's drawn like a cartoon. Do you know what I mean by that?
It is different style.
Yeah, it is drawn like a sort of an animated cartoon to me, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I didn't mind it. Didn't find it offensive. But it is just like a one-off sort of story of the girls going on a trip to London, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's great. It's really good. It reminds me of that I need to get back into this.
You do.
And it's just a good series. I do want to get back to it, but there's just so many I've got in my list now. So that's a good Christmas special. I enjoyed it. The other Christmas special I've read, I don't know if you've read this, Kev, the Wicked and Divine.
I have it sat on my desk to read on Christmas Eve.
This is
Why?
Wow.
I've got Wicked and Divine Christmas special and the DC Holiday special both sat on the desk in the house, and I've planned I'm going to sit there on Christmas Eve with a hot chocolate and read them both. And, feel Christmassy. Yeah, I just no, because that's not a Christmas song. That's a stupid Home Alone song, which is not a Christmas movie. We've been over this before. It's just a movie set at Christmas.
What?
Santa's not in it. It's not a Christmas movie.
What?
Just because a movie's set at Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
What?
You don't describe the Avengers as, it's a summer movie. It's just a movie that happens to take place in the summer. Home Alone's not a Christmas movie. It's a movie set at Christmas. No, it's not. It's not about Christmas. It's about a home invasion. It's not about Christmas.
I'm genuinely thrown. I can't think of other words to say other than what. You're literally just saying on the last leg that Kevin McAllister is the true spirit of Christmas.
Don't know who that is. I've not seen Home Alone.
It's not a Christmas film then. It's like the most Christmassy film imaginable.
How?
He learns Christmas lessons.
Is Santa in it? Does he go to the North Pole? Is there any reindeers in it? Is there any magic in it?
There is magic in them, yeah. Sort of. It's kind of weird magic that's it's realistic and it's through the eyes of a kid. But he learns valuable lessons because in both films he's only home alone because he wishes his family were gone. He doesn't want to be with his family at Christmas because he doesn't like them because of whatever thing they've done to insult him. And then he gets his wish.
Sounds
and then
like
people try and burgle him. And then he ends up getting run through the ringer, having the worst nightmare of his life. And then he learns a valuable Christmas lesson.
So that was perhaps review of Wicked and the Divine.
Right. So
I just went, it has Christmas music in it. He whispered it to me as well because she's coming to it. I'm ranting about.
Yeah. So this, I went, right, okay, I need to check this now. I need to check as soon as I open it. I need to check that this is canon or not. This is like, story. Like it's going to carry on the story sort of thing because I don't know how up to date I am with it. I'm only up to date with the trades. So there is like Sorry?
You're well behind.
Yeah,
then.
there's a new book coming out in January. There's a new trade coming out in January, so that'll probably get me back up to date. But I was like, okay, I need to read like the foreword that they have, basically telling you, and it tells you like they've skipped certain moments just in the series, just to like I'm trying to find certain what he says now. There's a lot we haven't shown. Amaterasu and Lucifer pre-Goddard friendship out. Dionysus and Belmont became friends. Lucifer and Sakmat getting it on. Laura and Bala getting it on. We've skipped a lot of getting it on. Well, they've skipped it all, but they've put it all in this.
Nice.
It is pretty much every single sex scene that isn't in the book.
Well, this is going to be a really Christmassy thing for me to read on Christmas Eve.
I was like, how is this Christmassy? It's not in any way, shape, or form.
I might read it tomorrow.
It's what they said. They wanted it to be like basically Christmas is like about having a fun time, what have you, and they want to show scenes of when each of them were individually like happy, sort of thing. Is what it's trying to get the gist of it over. Is that like when their happy moments in their lives so far, and it is just basically a lot of sex scenes.
You pervert.
It's just
reading your porn again.
I was like, I read the first one. I went, right, okay, fair enough, and all full male nudity. I was like, what the hell? This is a bit much in it for a comic book, but yeah, fine, right, okay. And then there's another one, and there's another one. I think there's like one, maybe two stories where they're not sex stories. I think
I'll skip those ones.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah. But yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the book itself. It like sort of just fills in some of the gaps and gives you more into each of their own psyche and what their thoughts are and with the world and what have you. And Lucifer's back, obviously, so everyone's a winner. So yeah, read it because it's good. The last thing I've read, under your instruction, I've started reading Stray Bullets.
Good boy.
Yeah, that's a weird book.
It is brilliantly weird.
I've read the first 3 chapters, and I read the first one, which is about I don't even know how to describe it. It's about a guy who's in love and will do anything for it, basically, won't he? And then they're not. I can't decide if they're related or not.
They are. Every story in it is related, but it's not chronological. So
right.
It won't. It might be that you get a snippet of something that won't make any sense for another 20 issues.
Because characters cross over, sort of thing. There's the odd character crossover, but it's different. Like they're just like different individual stories.
Yeah. By the time, each one is told as a standalone little story. But by the time you get maybe even a third of the way through the full 40-issue run, you start to piece together, okay, these are actually all in a shared universe, it pieces together, and you start to put together a sequence of events. But as if you're only 3 issues in, it would just seem like 3 standalone stories at the moment.
I mean, like the first one was what I mentioned, and the second one is about a young girl who's witnessed a murder. And then the third one is about like a party that's going on. But then, like you see, there's a character from the previous one in chapter 2 who's at the party from in the third one, and then there's talk of this I want to say Harry or something like that, or something like that. How he's like the big boss guy in the first one, and then there's talk of his girlfriend in the third one, and Harry's around in the third one, and so it is all like one universe, and it's not. I kind of wanted the story to carry on from like when I read the first one, and I was a bit like, is this just like a load of short stories? But I kind of like it as well. I really enjoy reading it, but I kind of wished I just had a story to carry on through from the end of. Well, then
buy all of them, and I'll give you an order to read them in, and then you can have it chronologically then.
Oh, great.
But it would lose some of its appeal if it was done in that order. It's told in this order specifically so that you don't necessarily realise what some of the connections are. There are probably a handful of moments throughout the whole series where it's like, oh, I didn't realise that's who they were.
Yeah,
it's a character who you've been getting to know in one scenario in 1 year even, who you'd go back 5 years or forward 10 years because the time moves around all the time. And suddenly they're doing something completely different with somebody completely different. And you realise it's someone, it's just really cleverly done.
Yeah.
The thing that really baffles me about it is the way it was released over the course of 10 years. These 40 issues took 10 years to release. But the way it's so skillfully pieced together, he must have set out at the start, right, I know what these 40 issues are going to be. This is my full story. Now I'll chop it up into individual stories, mix it all up a bit, and boom, here we go. I don't know how it didn't come out over the course of 2 years. I don't know how it could possibly. It can only be explained because he was doing it on the side whilst doing work he was actually getting paid for, and he was drawing it all himself. So it took a long time, but it was clearly all planned out completely before he started.
Yeah, it's a cool book. So it's 40 issues, do you say?
41, I think, on the first run.
And what?
Well, there's the original Stray Bullets ran for 41 issues.
Right.
And that's what's in the big fat book that I've got. But then when that big fat book was, because it was originally 40 and it never finished. And then there was a 10-year gap in real life. And then they released issue 41 when they got signed by Image to finish it off. And now it's monthly again. So it's starting up again afterwards. So, and it's still part of the same story in the same universe. So
really?
It's so it's still coming out monthly now. So it's just one of the best things I've ever read. It's so cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I've enjoyed what I've read. I was just a bit miffed at the fact that I wasn't getting a follow on because I wanted to know where the story went from the end of chapter 1, and I was like, oh, this is completely different. But I didn't. Yeah. I wouldn't say I was annoyed at it. Like, I just carried on reading it, and it's still an engrossing world you want to be part of, and you want to read on. And I will do. I'll finish that book probably by next week, and probably have a few more things to talk about going into the new year.
Splendid.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. So we should have announced it at the start of the show, really, but we'll announce it now. Next week. Drum roll, ladies and gentlemen, because it is the most exciting time. There's a reason that they sing that song about it being the most wonderful time of the year. It's nothing to do with Christmas, nothing to do with even Nogfest. It's nothing to do with Rusev Day. It's all about the 8th annual Google Zeitgeist Review of the Year show, which is going to be next week's episode. So get your... I mean, it's not... This series has been running so long now that it's not been called Google Zeitgeist for about 5 years, but we'll never change what we call it. Just keep your noses away from the Google Zeitgeist, Google Trends list. I mean, why change it to Google Trends? It's such a boring name compared to Zeitgeist.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's going to be next week's show. It's going to be nothing to do with games, nothing to do with comics, nothing to do with movies. I can hear you all cheering. It's going to be the Google Zeitgeist Review of the Year show. And if you want to know what that's all about, go back and listen to the previous 7. There's usually drunkenness and silliness involved. It will be fun. And I am looking forward to getting my Quizmaster trousers back on. Goodness me, do I love pretending to be a Quizmaster once a year. That's next week.
Yeah.
Listen to it.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
Good. Yeah, I was kind of expecting a cheer. Or at least a round of applause or something. Yeah, I'll never be Steve Wright in the afternoon if you don't cheer at the end of me doing an announcement.
Why only in the afternoon? Wouldn't you be here all the time?
Well, he's only here in the afternoon, isn't he?
All right.
I can't remember how we end a podcast. Do I tell you to go and follow us somewhere? I think I probably do. Follow us on Twitter at McGuck Podcast, and follow me at Lelujo.
And I'm at Rib6K.
And I'm at Pab1986.
We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/MatureGamerPodcast. And YouTube, that exists, lelujo.fm. Watch my videos. They're just the best videos you'll watch today.
I have had over 20,000 reads on my site now.
Excellent, Sheepdog.
Check that out, sheepdogwrites.com.
Splendid.
Yeah.
Do you ever write about me? You should write about me.
I reference you from time to time.
Do you? I'm a recurring character, am I? Do I get royalties for that?
No.
I'll have my people talk to your people.
Yeah.
Sort out some appropriate payment.
See if Hannah reads them.
Surely. What's she reading your blog for?
I don't know.
I'll go and ask her. I imagine she's long since gone to bed. See you next week, boys and girls.
Good week.
Thanks for listening, folks.